ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls. Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Meat Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on. We thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. Today's going to be a weird episode on what the hell, because me and Chris, I don't know about Johnny. Johnny's got some stuff going on in his neck of the woods. He'd love to be here, but he's got stuff to do. It happens. No big deal. So, Songs of Freedom. We were gonna do one over like 511, finding out that they had t-shirt being made by slave labor, basically, in China, which a lot of companies are finding out about the stuff that's happening. But we're gonna go in on this Sound of Freedom real quick, which I actually I got bored, so I went to go see it. And yeah, it's a really good movie. I mean, there's not that much action.
Yeah.
It's not like shoot 'em up or anything. It's saying it's an action thriller, but it's more or less a thriller. You know, nothing going. If you're wanting like big time action in this movie, it's not really that big action pack. It's not John Wick. It's not Taken or any of those movies. It's kind of like the first Taken, but they just did a little more action. This goes more deep dives in the sex trafficking or human trafficking.
But it's on my list. I haven't been able to go and see it yet, but that's definitely the next one that I go see.
I would say this. It wasn't. It didn't like. It was an eye opener. I've already knew all this stuff from a lot of other podcasters. They'd have people that are working on the back end of trying to stop trafficking.
Right.
And they tell the stories of their worst things they've seen, and I'm like, my God, what the hell? I've even seen a video. My daughter's, because she's like, I know you're doing this, and here's a weird video. What's going on with this? And it was basically a little girl ordering like ice cream or some shit. And the lady was talking to this little girl.
She was the one running the sale. It was like a little sidewalk paletta kind of stand.
Yeah, and they had this car that his door was open. And if you didn't notice anything, you would just think it's just a guy going in. But he almost ran in, grabbed this little girl, put her in the car, and drove off. But luckily, the cashier grabbed the little girl, walked her a couple of places, and the guy just left. Was that you that sent me there, or was it?
It was, yeah. So
other stuff.
As you can see, like the little girl has her back to the guy, and the guy has the back door open, and he's standing there, and he's on his phone, but from his body language, you can tell he's watching that girl. And the lady that's helping her, the older lady, she must have been mid-20s, if I had to say anything. Like she was young herself.
Yeah.
And she was bird dogging the guy. She was helping the little girl, but you could see she was keeping her eye. So the little girl went to turn around after she had their ice cream in her hand. She turned around, and the guy steps forward to intercept her, and instantly that girl came around the counter, grabbed her hand, and walked off. And the guy trying to play it off, just kind of turned around, closed the door, and drove off. But instantly, it could have happened in the blink of an eye if that lady had just turned her head and like gone underneath the counter or looked, grabbed someone on the back. But it taken her eye off that girl for just a second, she'd have been gone. You'd never seen her again.
Yeah, and that's the scary thing about stuff nowadays, to where how easy it's a lot easier to traffic humans nowadays. And
and I don't know if it's that there's a larger, and I even hate to say it this way, but I don't know if there's a larger market for it or if there's just more attention being brought to it, because you always see the missing and they're missing missing people. You don't necessarily make, at least before, you would never really in the front of your head make that connection to missing to trafficked. Whereas now, as soon as you hear somebody go, the missing children, even when I get an Amber Alert, my very first thought is trafficking. It's either trafficking and then, a child support case or something like that. Like those are the only two that I even think about. But right now anymore, if it's a kidnapping case, man, like the majority of the time seems to be it's trafficking connected.
Well, it's getting to the point nowadays that they're trying to stop it. And what's really sad, and I deep dive into it a little bit more only because a lot of people send me stuff about, because I tell them, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna do this one, and they start sending me stuff like big time, like Disney's a big one. They had that Rolling Stones article, the Washington Post. They're all saying it's a QAnon conspiracy. This is not how sex trafficking is. But they
were saying this was a movie for like dads. It was like their power fantasy for dads or something like that. It was.
I would not want to do that.
Yeah, they're completely marginalizing what these kids are actually going through and trying to protect these kids, because obviously all these the runners up or the powers that be that are running it down obviously have a hand in this.
Yeah, and it also I've been getting sent after I sent someone stuff on. It's like, yeah, for some reason Disney's trying to stop this movie.
Yeah, for 2 years. They actually had the movie in their hand. They owned it for 2 years. And the production company was fighting with them to be able to get it out. And Disney kept saying, no, we're not going to do it. Nah, we don't want to do it.
And I found out why. They have a lot of lawsuits going against them from the Disney cruise, a couple of things from the Disney parks.
Yeah, even their employees keep getting accused of diddling.
Yeah, I mean, they're a big company, so you can't.
Right, and that's not to say but it's the prevalence of it, and then them doing their best to keep it silent. It's and I hate to say this, but it's the Catholic Church all over again.
Yeah,
because it's how you respond to it tells everybody your mentality towards it. So if you're worried about your image and you're worried about how you're going to come across, I would much rather come across as coming down hard on those employees that are caught on it, rather than trying to we don't want people thinking child molestation and Disney in the same sentence.
Yeah.
Well, which right now that by your actions, you're causing that to happen.
Yeah. I mean, look at what they're doing in California right now. They're like, oh, we're so progressive. And what they did, they stopped a bill that makes it harsher on child molestation.
Yeah, it was going to start imposing life sentences on child trafficking. And it didn't even make it out. It was killed in committee.
Yeah.
It didn't even make it to the full floor.
Yeah, but you got places like Florida that are like initiating the death penalty,
Yeah,
which
and they're calling them extremists.
yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I believe totally heartily that that's not extreme. I mean, and I'll give you a reason why I believe that's not a case. Now, we need harsher punishments so that type of stuff can be stopped. I mean, are you going to stop it? No, it's a pipe dream. Yes, I would wish we could wave a magic wand and stop it. But a lot of these child molesters believe that they are able to do this because they were molested themselves, and it's just an ongoing cycle.
Yep. Well, I'll tell
And
you what, too. You put them in prison, there's a lot more of a chance of them getting that prison justice as well.
yeah, oh yeah. I mean,
'Cause they, child molesters and any of that, anything to do with kids, they have a hard time of it in prison.
yeah, I know it
Yep.
from personal because when I worked in corrections, they had this one guy. I mean, this was like kind of my first day. I go in and this guy, he had a big head. The only reason why I noticed it because he has I mean, it was huge. It was probably about that big.
Oh, he literally had a big head.
He literally had a big head.
He had a big ego.
No, he had a big head, and he was able to speak and enunciate pretty well. He was somewhat intelligent. And then I had my 4 days off. 4 days off, come back, found out he was in the hospital because they found out he was a diddler, and they beat the shit out of him.
Yep.
They beat him so bad that they beat him mentally challenged.
Good.
It was, I mean,
I am going fully on record right there saying I fully support that.
I totally support that too. I was like, I was like, you can. One, I was amazed. I was like, wow,
you can
really
actually beat somebody stupid.
you beat somebody stupid. That's possible.
That's impressive.
But and they even, man, all the stuff that I've been getting, and my daughter, and I know my daughter sent me some stuff. She sent me this one thing to where they have like what was it, like little signs for what the guys are interested in or something like that, or the
talking about the wristbands.
Immediately when I saw the flag, I was like, oh, no.
yeah, it was hold on.
Are you talking about the wristbands when they come across the border?
No, I'll send it to you. It's a nice little, like a sun, a triangle, a heart, and an upside down triangle that's purple. But these are like symbols to where what I even recorded it because I don't think that is going to last long on TikTok because what.
Oh,
basically it's showing.
Yes, I did see that one. Yeah.
What the pedophiles are actually
What
wants
it is they're looking for.
so
Yeah,
they don't have to say it, but they have the symbols and everything.
right.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
like their little shorthand that they can recognize.
Yeah.
It's like a little secret handshake they have.
Yeah. Which, oh god. But I I was like, there's this one thing someone sent me. It's called the Red Shoe Club, to where it's totally off basis to the point where it's like high end celebrities in Hollywood take the skins of children and make them into shoes. That's the reason why it's called the Red Shoe Club. I don't believe that shit.
Belts, handbags, wallets. That's the story.
Yeah. Well, I was like, this isn't true. So I went into a little bit of research because sometimes there's truth in it. They have baby factories in Africa. Literally baby factories. What they do is they take women, they kidnap them. Doesn't matter their age. They just kidnap them. They get them pregnant. And then they use them for selling their organs, selling their blood.
Yeah, they're literally like strapped into a bed, not able to move, or they can't go anywhere, and they just keep them pregnant until they can't get pregnant anymore, and then they send them out and they harvest the organs and all this other
Yeah.
thing. So yeah, once they've outlived their usefulness to them,
Yeah,
they harvest them and make room for someone else.
yeah, and
It's disgusting.
and it's even to the point to where they some companies, I mean, and this is Africa, it's not United States, at least I hope it's not in the United States. It has like satanic rituals and everything. I was like, really? You're going a little bit, and I deep dive that, and yeah, there's places in Africa that still believe that if you sacrifice a child or you deliver certain organs of a child to their deity or demon or whatever, that their business will prosper.
Yep.
I'm like, no. And then I deep dive that, and there's a lot of hey, MJ, you don't have to scrunch down. All the stuff's in front of me. I just need that for the looking at the screen. Okay. But anyways, that's how all these things are done down there in the African nation, which and it's not all African nation. It's more or less like
Yeah, it's not even saying it's the majority. There is it's very much a minority of beliefs that are doing this, but it's still taking up quite a bit of the human toll on it is massive. It's not a minority by any means.
But they are now, from what I gathered on some of the research though, because a lot of these people that have money and are pedophiles, they go like to different countries and everything, do their business, and they feel they're safe. Now they have laws that are adjacent with that if a person leaves the United States, diddles kids, becomes and they're allowed to get arrested in those countries and brought back to the United States and charged with those crimes.
Good.
So, I mean, we're making a little bit of headway and everything, but it's still gonna be a process.
Yeah, I feel, but as long as we have people in high levels of our government that are fighting against it, and for whatever their reasoning, whatever you think their end goal is, they are still fighting against, the punishment of the trafficking of children. I mean, for crying out loud, we still don't have Epstein's client list. And there was somebody that was convicted for child trafficking with Ghislaine Maxwell. She was convicted for it. We still don't have the client list. So explain the reasoning behind that. It makes zero sense.
Yeah. All right. But another thing that we were wanting to talk about today, and not saying we can go all episode on child trafficking.
Yeah.
And there are a bunch of companies. There's one in Dallas. It's ran by a Navy SEAL, got a pararescue help them out, and this one lady, and they just go over. They don't track these people down, but they track these people down. They're an extra source for the cops. I forget what they're called. They were on Andy Stupp's podcast. But there are like charity groups that you can find out to go against child trafficking and everything, which I would support these. Even the dude that from that 70s show. Ashton Kutcher.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he even went to Congress saying, "Hey, this is XYZ. We need to stop this." And it's just to the point to where
There
we're-
needs to be harsher penalties on the end user too. Like it's even for the ultimate consumer of this. Like there's people that are still, they let them out too easy. I mean, that's why you get all these other groups that are monitoring online and doing the fishing, like with what's his name? The To Catch a Predator dude. His name completely escapes me.
God, dang it.
I can't believe I forgot his name. Chris Hansen.
Yeah, Chris Hansen.
There's a lot of groups that are doing that kind of work where they're trying to lure in these sickos. And honestly, that's the more time that they spend talking to these decoys, less time they're talking to young kids, boys and girls.
Yeah, and there's also I forgot someone sent me this and I sent it to the group. There's evidence reports revealing that the WHO, the World Health Organization, and the United Nations are trying to sexualize little kids in primary education worldwide for the purpose of normalizing pedophilia. This report consists of nothing but solid evidence with many official documents, videos, books, and archives, all PDF documents. And this is from a website from Stop World Control. But little children are sexual beings who, and this is not me saying, this is actually the website trying to show. Yeah, I'm not reading that. It's just I don't want it to come off on me saying that shit, and I'm not. But they're basically saying kids should be able to have sex at a young age. I'm like, no.
Yeah, and we're talking as young as like 5 and 6. Like he's talking about super young.
Yes. And
that there is basically no age where they can't consent, which is disgusting.
I mean, try to get a freaking fork away from a kid and put it in a light socket because I don't know any better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just they're trying so hard. I'm like, what are you trying to get at? No, that's wrong. No, it's right because of XYZ. No.
There's zero way that you could try to justify it.
Yeah.
They're trying. They've tried some mental gymnastics that they're really, and then these same people are the same ones that'll turn around and say, well, 18 is way too young to be voting. They need to be 21 in order to be able to vote because their brains aren't developed and they don't know what they're talking about. Do you hear yourself?
Yeah. It's basically it's ridiculous. I mean, it's to the point to where, I mean, there's even a group called Gays Against Groomers.
Yes. Oh, there's a big
it's a big
movement about that now. Yeah.
Yeah. And
that are walking away from the whole, not even just against groomers, like they're walking away from the whole, the LGBT alphabet, whatever thing. Like there's a lot of gays that are walking away from that, saying that I don't want anything to do with that movement, or I don't want to be labeled as that because I don't agree with all the stuff they're trying to push on children.
Yes.
It's like, I'm gay, but I'm going to do that with, adults. Like, I don't leave the kids alone. And I cannot believe that that's now become a controversial statement, and especially on like TikTok and things. Like it's, you say, leave the children alone, and man, you get pounced on.
Yeah. Yeah. One of my friends that helps us out with the podcast, he was I told him, I was like, dude, if you really want to troll people, say this. He's like, really? No, that's not gonna. He was like, dude, you have no idea how many freaking views I got for just saying that. I'm like,
be called hateful, homophobic. You're a bigot. Yeah.
Well, what's really funny is there's the whole Activision thing with Call of Duty, where a couple of
Oh, the
streamers, Activision, a couple of streamers ended up saying, leave the kids alone, and they got their skins took off Call of Duty.
Well, it was one streamer, and
No,
he,
it was
it was
well,
one
streamer,
streamer,
and the
and
other
then
guy said, "You know what? Take mine
voluntarily.
too."
It was Tim the Tap Man voluntarily said no. If you're going to remove his for saying something as inane as that, as just saying leave the kids alone, then you can remove mine as well. He said
Yeah.
take it out. And then Dr. Disrespect just flat out uninstalled the game behind it in solidarity. And he made it clear the reason I am doing this is to stand with that streamer. He goes, if this is going to be your stand, I want nothing to do with you. And he uninstalled the game. And since then, there's been a huge swell of support behind that against Activision.
Yeah. Which, I mean, you're a freaking company that deals with children as entertainment or as an entertainer.
Mhm.
And I would be totally all right with that. It's just showing that, are you trying to push the agenda of pedophilia as a good thing?
Yeah,
that-
that's what I'm saying. Like you're giving the perception, whether it's real or not, your actions are being perceived as apologizing and supporting pedophilia.
Yeah. And it's getting to the point nowadays that it's so sad that people are trying to support this.
I make excuses for it too.
Yeah.
Even if it's not outright support, you're excusing the behavior. You're trying to, well, as you see the other side of the coin where it's it's just another form of sexuality, like being gay. They can't help it. It's just their sexual expression. No, there is something wrong with your brain if you're trying to have sex with children. Like there is something wrong with your brain, and it is okay to say that.
Yeah, they were probably molested as a child. I mean, the percentage of that, they're probably molested as a child, and it was normalized to them. And a lot of the cases on the psychos and sociopaths that the people ended up murdering kids and everything, they were supposedly molested as a child and everything.
Yeah,
It's
but that can only take you so far, man.
yeah, it can only take you so far. But there's also stuff is like, I felt bad when I was being molested as a kid.
Mhm.
Maybe I shouldn't do that shit.
Right.
I mean, it's just an ongoing cycle that, like I said, we could do a whole freaking month segment on these things. But going into our other topic though, where is this? Man, I just brought next level apparel actions on forced labor cotton are far from enough. Plentiful Custom Ink and other major printing manufacturers all utilize next level apparel. Country music artists and the last one major competitor in my industry named Grunt Style also uses the supplier as a source of blanks sold to you, the end customer. Basically, you're talking about the t-shirts that don't have any kind of stuff.
Just blank t-shirts, yeah.
In fact, if you purchase products for your kids' school or church spirit gear, you may have bought products from the Next Level Apparel. In the industry, the demand for Epic non-blanks goods in the hundreds of millions of units and billions of dollars annually. As a response, vendor-owned and operated brands, I feel trusted to earn and set out to validate that my suppliers did not utilize banned cotton that organized from Zhenjiang, China. Never in my wildest dreams would I think that Next Level Apparel shirts that had a label stating made in Nicaragua would have cotton isotopes consistent with Zhejiang region of China, where it is presumed that the cotton was picked by imprisoned Muslims. Ogara. It's Uyghur. For the main fact they are born Muslims, but this is what happened. When I reacted to Randy Hale's Next Level Apparel CEO, and a response came the Next Level lawyers was extreme hostility and threatening. As a small service disabled vet company, found myself as an interesting doing harder right over the easier wrong and relied on the advance of my fellow veterans. Now, surprise, and I don't. There's a lot of stuff that goes into like the making of products and everything. This being one of them, that a lot of people that get their products made, like our phones are the world's worst.
Yeah. So you're talking about cobalt from Africa and children mines.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Essentially slave labor down there too.
Yeah. And this is going on the whole human trafficking and everything like that. But the people that mine, I even seen have you ever seen the sulfur mining?
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
Yeah, it's like walking into the pits of hell.
Yeah. Some of them have masks, some of them don't have masks. And this is almost like any kind of product that comes out. Most of the stuff that you get to get the product at a cheaper price, you literally are seeing slavery.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you get now, there are laws in certain countries like the United States that have like labor laws where it's a little bit more expensive to get products, or even like fuel for a lot of stuff. Oil companies making you can go work at oil field for like, I mean, the bottom pay is starting out, it's like usually about $30 an hour.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
making a shitload.
Yeah, you're making shitloads. But it's to the point where you go into another country that does the same thing. It's doing like oil work and whatnot, and they get paid like bottom dollar.
Yeah, you they're getting paid a hundredth of what you're making over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking pennies on the dollar.
And we actually, I mean, I even went over on one of the episodes, the Lulo, Colorado. There was an incident for coal minings to where they eventually that's where they got to like the 8-hour work week, and they started unionize. They were already starting to unionize, but it was to the point where they finally got it unionized for coal mining, and they ended up in. It was a basic massacre that even the people after the fact, the Rockefellers, and this was actually the Rockefellers that actually did this. They said on a statement, I was like, I did it this time and I'll do it again. Basically,
unapologetically. Oh yeah.
Yeah. They were totally unapologetic.
Yeah, you stand up to us, you're gonna die.
Yeah, and this is like 1910, 1912. But we now have like labor laws and everything to stop this, but there's so many countries that don't have that.
Yep.
And it's to the point where most of your products that you get nowadays, there's a couple of products in that, like your phone. There's like, I think like 5 or 6 items in the phone that are made because of slavery or close to it.
Yeah.
But I'm actually drained on this one. It's going through all this stuff of how much that we don't know about our products when we have like information from around the world nowadays. I mean, we have like infinite knowledge almost in our palm of our hands, and people are still trying to fight for stupid shit when they should be fighting for other things. Like the whole slavery thing. You think that like, no, we are being oppressed for 200 years. There's still people out there are being oppressed. Why aren't we helping those people out? You know?
Right.
But
Because it's not. It's as long as it's over there, it's okay.
yeah, it's so ridiculous.
They can't vote here, so we don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, they could if they got here.
Yeah.
It's a whole other.
But that's another thing that gets me is people are like, oh, we should let people cross the border freely. Well, we still have laws in the United States that have it to where they can't like carry down like easy jobs. Now there's some places that let them get like IDs and whatnot so they can get jobs and start paying taxes and everything. Those people don't pay taxes anyways.
Exactly.
But in my opinion,
most of them are in government.
yeah. And this is just my opinion, and a lot of people will probably get upset about this. I mean, if you happen to be a legal immigrant, but you've been paying your taxes, supporting this country, I think you should get like a free pass for citizenship. Not like a free pass, but I know that'll probably upset people that actually have like went through the process and everything.
I mean, it does need to be massively streamlined. It does. And I don't hear anybody saying that's not true. Like the immigration process can take over 10 years. Like it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
The shit they have to go through to try to get this done. And I agree. It needs to be revamped. It needs to be streamlined. And it should not take that long. Should there be, comprehensive background check? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it should not take 10 years. That's ridiculous. It should not take that long to go through citizenship.
I think the fastest the fastest I've seen was probably about 4 years, and he was joining the army, and he still had it was one of those things that he was in the army. He got a work visa for that. And if you join the armed services, United States Armed Services, and you're from another country, you have the option of actually getting a citizenship. And once you become citizenship, you can get do other things.
See, I don't even think you should have to go through the process. If you join the military and you do your full term, automatic. Should be an automatic. You shouldn't even have to do the paperwork. Automatically get your citizenship.
Yeah,
I 100% agree with that.
I mean, if you're willing to die for another country that's not even yours because you like it so much,
yes,
here you go.
Yes.
Now I'm totally for that. I mean, we are a fucking country of immigrants. And in saying that, I am against illegally coming over here.
Absolutely.
But there are other ways to get around that process, like join the military. That's one. Totally support if you
it doesn't even necessarily have to be the military. I'm saying some form of national service.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like what was it? There used to be like a workforce type deal for a
Yeah.
while.
Or even like oh, what am I doing? Like Peace Corps or something like that. Like if it's a nationally recognized service where you are helping the greater good, then
You know what
yes,
just
absolutely.
you know what I was just thinking about the Peace Corps thing, because they go to different countries. What if you join the Peace Corps and they send you to your country
Same
to
country.
help it out?
Like, didn't you just leave here?
Yeah. That would be so fucking hilarious.
Oh my god, can you imagine?
Dude, I was imagining it. That's how bad it was. I was like, could you imagine joining the Peace Corps?
Oh my god. Dude, that would be amazing. Oh, I want to see that. I want to see that as a reality show. Join
Oh,
the Peace Corps and then get sent back to your same village.
They asked me to build us a well, so I'm building us a well.
I asked you to do that last week and you left.
Fuck this. Well, they're paying me more.
Fuck you, I'm going to America. Okay, I'm back. I'll dig your well. I'm getting paid now. Oh, there's a volunteer. They don't get paid.
Actually, they get paid just like they get. It's more or less the same amount as being enlisted. I mean, they get paid. They just don't.
No way. Oh, okay. Well, see, there you go. But
I had a friend of mine that joined the Peace Corps.
oh, okay. Yeah, but still, I mean, for them, that's a fortune.
Yeah. It'd still be fucked up.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. Well, that's the end of this episode, everybody. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. I guess tune in for next week's Nerd Sports. We'll have some fun
Are
there.
we gonna have the correct number this time?
I will speak the correct number. The episode has the correct number on it. I just kept on saying the wrong number on it.
I had skipped a week, so I forgot what number we were on, and it wasn't until afterwards that we realized. Oops.
Yeah, basically. Anyways, I'm David Dickerman.
I'm Chris Jacka.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.
Laters.